search for 9 qualities of Nordic daylighting continues. Coming to you from Oslo, Norway. Beautiful place so far. A little cloudy, but I think it might clear up later. We'll see. So my trip to Scandinavia is taking me to these 3 countries: Iceland, Norway, and Denmark. If you haven't seen David Does Iceland, go check out that other YouTube video. If you keep your eyes on the 3 red dots, those are the 3 countries I'm visiting. You can see the drastic amount of difference of daylight they receive between the summer solstice and the winter solstice. I'm using this book by author Professor Henry Plumer as my guide, Nordic Light, Modern Scandinavian Architecture. Plumer identifies the 9 qualities of Nordic daylighting. I'm here to find modern and contemporary examples of these qualities of light. Get the camera right. There we go. We're going to go check out the Astrup Fearnley Museum, designed by Renzo Piano, completed in 2005. Actually, I've been to quite a few Renzo Piano buildings. Parco della Musica in Rome, the George Pompidou Center in Paris, Menil Collection in Houston, Texas, the Nasher Sculpture Center in Dallas. His buildings are heavily inspired by location and function. In the case of the Astrup Fearnley, the building design, specifically the roof structure, is inspired by the sailboats of Oslo Bay. You can clearly see that up close and of course from a distance. Another key component of a Renzo Piano building is its connection to light, and that's why this project was one I wanted to experience. So many of his buildings have a roof structure that incorporates filtered light. For a museum, having carefully curated light is very important. Tranquility. The peaceful glow and solitude of unadorned things reduced to their essence. Bringing in a peaceful glow to the art pieces themselves, and then the overall aesthetic of the interiors is very much focused on the art and not on the architecture. The unadorned things reduced to their essence helps to bring that notion forward. So the Astrup Fearnley captures tranquility. That gets us 3 qualities of Nordic daylighting so far. So a short walk away from the Astrup Fearnley is Oslo Bay, and one important part of Norwegian culture is ice baths. And this is something that all people participate in, locals and tourists alike, and so of course I had to get involved. We rented a floating sauna in Oslo Bay that overlooked the Oslo Opera House. I found this online and I thought, oh my god, yes, I have to do this. The interior is the sauna component and then a changing room. You have to throw your own logs into the fire, and it was 150 degrees Fahrenheit in here. It was so hot. It was my turn to do the Norwegian ice bath, and I could only get knee deep. It was freezing. Floating sauna, check. This is the Oslo Opera House, designed by Snøhetta. This project has been a dream of mine to visit in person since architecture school, and to see it in real life was breathtaking. An incredible feature of this building is the open promenade that brings visitors up the slow, gradual ramp to the roof above the theater, and you have a phenomenal view of Oslo Bay. The quality of light that the Oslo Opera House captures is forest. The conversion of forest light into vessels and frameworks of wood. The forest as a building material has been prevalent in Norwegian architecture for centuries, and not just in buildings, but in furniture, boats, and children's toys. In Plumer's book, there's a description about how wood as a material reflects light in order to highlight the textural element of wood grains and color and vibrancy. And so you can see in some of these late afternoon shots how beautiful that wood material is reflected through the glass facade and into the public space. And as a bonus, we saw a performance in the Oslo Opera House, and the acoustics were so cool. So now we have forest. 4 down, 5 to go. Okay, outside of St. Halvard's Church and Monastery in Oslo, outside of the main city center. And here's the delivery truck. Great. Well, so much for recording outside the building. What I found so interesting with this church is that they are recreating that sense of winter darkness through architecture. Light itself is treated as a sensitive feature in the space. It's heavily controlled by these narrow apertures of window area. St. Halvard's was built in 1966. As you walk into the space itself, you're in complete darkness until your eyes adjust. St. Halvard's captures the quality of light of darkness, the resonance of dark beginnings and Arctic light in shadowy spaces. Now we've identified the quality of darkness. 5 complete. So walking along the edge of Oslo Bay, I came across the office of Snøhetta, the architect that designed the Oslo Opera House. I was really excited and I wanted to go inside and take a peek, but I also didn't want to be a complete stalker, so I didn't go inside, but their building exterior looked pretty interesting. The next building site is the Oslo City Hall, designed by architects Arnberg and Poulsen. The quality of Nordic daylighting identified here is carving. The molding of light into compelling and unforgettable figures. As I meandered around the City Hall, each room is adorned with different artwork and faces a different cardinal direction, therefore receiving a different quality of light. Plumer describes architecture as an optical instrument that can be used to direct scarce daylight into every room exposed to the sky. The City Hall accomplishes that. A practice of sculpting light into recognizable and memorable shapes. This sculpting of light is seen most notably in the Grand Hall, with the clerestory band of windows along the top edge of the walls. This also provides a ton of ambient light in that open space. Also, there was some beautiful hand-painted art scattered around the City Hall, and here's some detail shots of that. Look how cool this is. So now we have carving. Look how many we've captured so far. It's looking good. On to the next. So my friend and I are finally leaving Oslo. This was a tremendous place to visit. And our last stop is the Oslo airport, of course. We gotta fly out of here. Designed by the Nordic Office of Architecture, based in Oslo. The quality captured here is Journey. The galvanizing of space with alluring cues and beacons of light. What I found interesting about this space was, with Journey, it's important to understand how light can engage in a processional route and propel movement in people. It's an interesting comparison to the functional purpose of this building, the airport itself, and this ticketing check-in area. So we see how light and movement can work really well together in this space. It also works well for video selfies too. Well, we captured Journey, and we have 7 of the 9 qualities complete. I am so pleased. Norway blew me away with incredible architecture, and can't wait to visit again. Okay, on our way to Copenhagen, Denmark.